I made about 17,000 euros in realized profits in 2024 as I sold multiple assets this year. You can see that the year was mainly in the green, only 3 months in the red. So in this video, I want to show you how my portfolio did in 2024. This was by far the best year I ever had, and it's just been also super busy the whole year. Hello there, I'm Robert and I'm glad you are interested in investing. And on this channel, I talk about investing and personal finance from a European perspective. So let's just jump into my portfolio tracker and I'll explain everything that happened. By the way, you can download this tracker if you want to. The link will be in the description down below. So let's take a look first at the stocks. You can see I only have 2 stocks left. That's Nokia and Microsoft. They both did really well, especially Nokia. At the end of the year, it kind of rose quite sharply. You can see this little chart here. It kind of was stagnant for a long time, but then at the end of the year, last quarter, it just shot up. So that's great. And same thing with Microsoft. It did a little bit differently. In the beginning of the year, it had a sharp rise, and then it kind of stabilized there. But both of them did really well. So in total, I made 28%. That's 940 euros just on these 2 stocks. But I actually had more stocks than this, and I want to show you if we take a look at the transactions this year and what I've sold, you can see that I sold quite a lot of stocks. And I started in the beginning of the year with Tesla, and I sold it for almost $190. I think I bought it for 100, so I made a nice profit on it. But looking back, maybe I sold it a bit too early, and I'll explain that in a second why. And then we have NEO, which I don't count. Then we have Nokia. I sold a small part of that stock just because I wanted to get rid of this broker links. I've been using it for a long time, but I haven't been active on it for a long time. So I wanted to close off some of my positions there, and as soon as I closed my Tesla in July, that's when I basically closed the whole broker. But enough about that. Basically, the second time I sold Tesla, that was for $240, and that's a much better result than the previous one. And I also sold Amazon, but Amazon kind of happened by accident. I actually set in the beginning of the year, I think I set a trailing stop loss for Amazon, and it got triggered in August. I didn't even notice it until, I don't know, I think it was later in October or something that it actually happened, that I don't have this stock anymore. So there I made a mistake. I think I just set the trailing stop loss way too low. Maybe it was like 13-15%, so clearly it dipped and then it shot up a lot. And I think by now, so if I sold it at 166, Amazon stock, so Amazon stock is now at 222, so definitely sold way too early, and it wasn't by choice, it was just by an error. But from this, when I sold, I want to show you the realized profits for the 2, so Tesla and Amazon. For Tesla, I made 5,700 euros, and then for Amazon, it was 1,900, almost 2,000 euros. So I'm pretty happy with those results. We're talking about, profits that I haven't seen before from stocks, and both of them basically doubled the initial investment. So really happy with it. Now, because we're talking about Tesla, and most of you know what happened after, well, basically the US election. So if I think I have it here open, yes. So if we look at the past year, 1 year, we see that I sold it somewhere here in July. And I thought at that time it was a good, I sold it at the highest peak. It was long time, very, stagnant. It didn't move it either way. And then it rose by, I don't know, 10, 20%. I thought, okay, this is a good moment to sell it. And I did sell it. But then little I knew, after the US election, it just went crazy. It went from 220 to, what is this, 480. So it just grew so quickly, and I definitely exited it too early because I also didn't see the connection between maybe Musk associating himself with Trump and what the benefit would be there. But the stock market definitely saw Musk companies might benefit from this. So you can see that this was crazy rise. And I'm just, on one hand, I'm happy that I got out and I actually have profits. On the other hand, I got out way too early. And I think that this is what is quite hard to predict. And in this case, I was wrong, but why I did it this early already is because always in the past I waited too long. So I waited for the peak and then I sold it again when it was going down. So this is something I need to still learn to do better with these speculative stocks, because in the end I am speculating a little bit. I could not predict this. This was not, Tesla's value didn't go up because they sold more cars. No, it is just something that the market is expecting. So maybe Tesla electric cars stocks will be, I don't know, under Trump administration, they will give some benefits. So that's what they're expecting. So that's why you have higher price. So I don't think I could have done anything better at the time. With the knowledge I had, I think I sold it. The second time I sold it at the right time. But this can happen, and you might talk with some other people and they just hold their stocks, especially if they believe in the company. But I kind of started to lose belief in Tesla just because the EV sales were going down. They are not that innovative compared to other companies anymore. So kind of it wasn't there. I just didn't feel it. So I got rid of it. So that's kind of the story behind it. And although in this case I tried to time the market, and I don't usually do it, but I kind of apply that rule only for my ETFs. In ETFs, I don't try to time it, but with these individual stocks and crypto, I do try take out some of the profits when I see that there is profits. This is like an extra for me, so I'm not trying to get rich quickly from this. It's just something fun, and this actually produced a nice result this year. Next, let's take a look at ETFs, and you can see that ETFs did really well. In total, it's about 28% a rise. If you compare that to S&P 500, it was slightly higher, and basically that's 10,000 in the whole year, the profits in the whole year. But this is unrealized profit, so this is all still in the market. And if we take a look, my biggest portion is in the USA, which just follows the S&P 500. I have here 30% increase, it's 8,500 just from that, because I have 35,000. Basically, that's the pie that I'm working with. Now, in October, I switched from VUSA to this one. It's the iShares S&P 500 variant. So instead of Vanguard, I'm going for iShares just because this is the one that I found that has accumulating instead of distributing the dividends. So VUSA is actually distributing, so you get all the dividends to your account, and then you need to take it and reinvest yourself. First of all, I thought it would be a good idea to just see that money, it would be something that I would be excited about, but I noticed that I never looked at it, and I was just like, why is there cash on my account again? And it's just because those dividends do start to add up a little bit. So basically, I switched to this one, the iShares one, that is accumulating, so it will reinvest all those dividends automatically into the same asset, so I don't need to think about it. Also, it's a bit more tax efficient in many countries in Europe, so that's why I'm just, from now on, going to buy this one, but I'll keep the other ETFs that I have because there's no reason to sell them just because they're not the type I like now. And when you're selling ETFs or stocks, you need to keep in mind that it might be that you have to pay taxes on that. So that's why it's better just keep it. But you need to check how this works in your country. So let's take a look at crypto. And you can see it's looking pretty lonely here. I only have BNB left, the Binance coin, and it rose by 137% this year. And that's 1,000 euros in profits. So basically doubled, a bit more than doubled. So really happy with this. This happened quite at the end of the year, I think, for BNB, but I did have Ripple and Bitcoin before that. So I want to show you again that I did sell both of them. So here you can see this is from 2003. That's when I bought this. So in 2024, I sold Bitcoin at the end of the year, October, and then the Ripple, I also sold it in just in December. They reached quite high prices, and I thought, okay, this is good enough for me. I made money with them, and I want to take it out before there's a dip. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will actually just, Bitcoin will go from 100,000 till, I don't know what they're projecting, 150. But at this point, I just wanted to take some money because in the past, I've always lost money this way with crypto because I got a bit greedy and never took out money. And this time I actually have a sizable amount that I can, say, hey, I actually made this with crypto, and I think I'm going to spend some of that money on, I need to buy a car this year, so I'm going to spend part of it on that. If we take a look at the realized profit from Bitcoin and Ripple, you can see that for Bitcoin, it was 7,700. And basically, I bought it at 30,000 and I sold it around 84. So that was a 150% increase in value. And for Ripple, it was even crazier. I bought it for, 23 cents, and I sold it at 2.1. So that was tenfold. I cannot complain. I started with 230, and I ended up making this much profit. So I exited both of them. Obviously, I don't know how well Bitcoin will perform in the next year. I just thought I will just rather take that money out and enjoy while I still can. And as you can see, it actually reached 100,000. This is, I think, in euros. So $100,000 was reached many times. So it's been a crazy year for Bitcoin, and for the last 5 years also, it's been good times. But if there's a dip in the market, I will definitely buy into it again. Okay, let's take a look at my peer-to-peer lending, and that one was very stable. So this year I made almost 600 euros for peer-to-peer, and that's 11% in profits. Nothing really to report. It's been stable. I haven't had any issues with loans not being paid. It seems to just work like clockwork. I am not planning to increase this in 2025, but I like to have a little bit in peer-to-peer just because I want to have that experience also in the long term. How does it work? And especially if we have any type of a downturn, does it still work, or are we going to see more of those defaults on the loans? So then actually you're going to start, the sort of profits from there will be lower. So if we'll take a look at my portfolio overall, 2024 was the best year I ever had because I'm up by 28%, and this is just for stocks that are still in my portfolio, and that's 12,000 euros in unrealized profit. But then if we add the realized profit, which was 17,000, then my portfolio is about 75,000, and that's 67% increase compared to where I started last year. And this is just crazy. I basically made 8 years profits because my goal is about 8 to 10% every year. So 7 to 8 years it would have taken me to actually make this. So I'm really happy. I don't think I'm gonna have this kind of a year in a long time. It just all the stars aligned, and I bought assets that were just increasing in value. So if you compare that to S&P 500, which rose by 24%, which is also exceptional, exceptionally good, I cannot be more than happy. And I just hope that I'm able to keep this going, and I actually just want to keep up with S&P 500. If I can make that, I'm already happy. So what I just, this year has been just crazy. And I think if you watch any other videos from other YouTubers, you'll notice that a lot of people had good year because it was hard not to have a good year in 2024, and it's just easy to make these type of videos when it's all numbers in the green. I think it's gonna get a little bit more tricky if we have any type of a downturn or corrections. I think it will be interesting to see how even I myself will deal with that. I'm gonna try to cover up some of what I've done and my decisions. I have to justify them in some way, but this year, no problem, because everybody looks like a genius. Now, I've been investing for the last 7 years, and I've tried quite a lot of different brokers. So if you're interested what I find the 2 best brokers right now on the market, then check out this video right here. I'll go through the pros and cons of each of the platform I've used.